Hi, I'm Sonia Gensler, and I am standing in a meadow near the center of one of the most prestigious academic institutions in the world, Cambridge University, which also happens to be the setting of my new novel, The Dark Between. I am so lucky to be able to spend my summers in Oxford, England. But a lot of people ask me, why would you set your novel in the city that most consider Oxford's greatest rival? But to explain the Cambridge connection, I have to take you back to when I was writing my first novel, The Revenant, which, like The Dark Between, is a paranormal historical mystery. During my research for The Revenant, I learned about the Society for Psychical Research, which was formed in the 19th century to study paranormal phenomena in a serious and scientific way. As it turns out, many of the founders of this society were Cambridge men, graduates of Trinity College in particular. And I have to tell you, they were fascinating people, and their lives were like soap operas to read about. But as I was reading, I kept wondering what it would be like to be a teenager in that environment. And what would happen to a teenager who got caught up in the secrets and the dangers of the world of spiritualism, seances, and the hidden powers of the mind. But enough background. It's time to take the Dark Between tour of Cambridge. But to do this right, we're going to need some insider help. Do you think, in all of Cambridge, it's at all possible that I could find a knowledgeable and charming Cambridge student to show us around? Let's find out. All right, well, we are fortunate to have Harry with us now, who is a PhD candidate at Corpus Christi College in Cambridge. And we are wondering, of course, how Cambridge University even started. We know it's old, we're not sure quite how old, and where did it all begin?
So we began just over 800 years ago, in the year of 1208. We began in Oxford. It's painful to say, but Oxford University was up and running before we were. So our origins lie in Oxford, and one afternoon some Oxford students were messing around. They were playing with a bow and arrow, and they accidentally shot a local woman. They weren't very good, they were probably drunk, and they missed their target, shot this local woman. And the local people of Oxford took this so badly that they actually murdered some students in revenge. And as a result of this, the people of Oxford, so the students of Oxford, realised that Oxford's quite a horrible place, not safe at all. We need to run away, and they came to Cambridge, which at the time was a very small market town. Medieval Cambridge was a very different place to today. There were only two subjects you could study, law and theology. So I don't think it was a particularly fun place to be, very serious. All the students here, most of them were trained to become priests. They had to be celibate, they had to go to bed at a certain time, they had to get up at the crack of dawn and pray. It wasn't until Henry VIII and people like him started building colleges like Trinity, just beside me here, that richer students started to come, and they were far more interested in feasting and visiting brothels and so on. So, yes.
Okay, we found a little bit of shade, and we are standing just beside the Wren Library at Trinity College. And I wanted to come here because Trinity College and the Wren Library play a pretty big role in The Dark Between. There's a lot of mystery that goes on here. There's a little bit of breaking and entering that goes on here. And Harry's going to tell us a little bit about the history of Trinity and all the good gossip about it.
So Trinity College, founded in 1546 by Henry VIII. You might have heard of him, he's very famous. He had 6 wives. Henry VIII set up the college. Just before he died, his final wife convinced him that if he set up a college, he would be remembered as a great king. And luckily, he just plundered the church.
Yes.
And he had huge amounts of land just lying around, so he gave Trinity all this land that he'd taken off the church. As a result, Trinity College was much richer than all the other colleges, and today it has more money than all the other Cambridge colleges put together. So they're very rich. They don't really know what to do with their money, so recently they bought the Millennium Dome, or the O2 Arena, which is, every time Beyonce or Lady Gaga does a concert there,
All right.
some of the money comes to this college, so they're sitting
Their endowment is
enormous.
Is limitless. Yeah. We are on the other side of the Cam, now the river, and Trinity College is on that side. And I thought it'd be fun to talk a little bit about the punting, because in the Dark Between there's a rowing trip. That rowing seemed to be more appropriate for young ladies and gentlemen. Punting became much more popular as in the next couple of decades, but punting is incredibly popular now. I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about it here in Cambridge.
I mean, today punting is something that every tourist will do when they come to Cambridge. However, I'd say 100 years ago it was more of a practical thing of getting wine and food into the back entrances of colleges. So all the colleges along the river had these kind of trade entrances, and all the punters would bring deliveries of different things. Yeah, punting's pretty tricky actually. It looks easy because all these people have been doing it for years, these professional punters. However, sometimes the tourists have a go themselves, and it's very fun to watch. In fact, we're in the best position to watch all the tourists fall in. Usually when their pole gets stuck on the river, you should let go, but they don't let go, so they get dragged into the river and the boat carries on without them. So that's always it's always fun to watch.
Right, better to lose the pole than yourself.
Your dignity. Yeah.
Well, we've made it to the front gates of Newnham College, which is the campus that I based Summerfield College on in the Dark Between.
The reason for these colleges was that there was, for most of its history, the University of Cambridge was only for men. So during the 19th century, there was pressure to allow women to get, a university education in Cambridge. So Newnham was set up along with Girton. One of the figures highly involved in setting up the college was Henry Sidgwick, who was an academic and philosopher who features very heavily in your book.
Right, Oliver Thompson is based on Henry Sidgwick.
Yeah, so and today it remains, Newnham remains an only women college, and lots of famous people have come here. So Germaine Greer, the critic, the feminist critic, and Iris Murdoch.
Right.
And you know a few more?
Emma Thompson, the actress and screenwriter, and A.S. Byatt, Antonia Byatt, I guess is her actual first name, who wrote Possession, one of my all-time favorite novels, definitely an influence on my own writing. So I think we're going to try to take a peek inside. In 1901, as a women's college, there would have been severe limitations on the amount of socializing they could do with male students. I mean, partly just to uphold the reputation of the school, to not bring any trouble on them. Elsie, as the niece of the principal, is going to be particularly scrutinized as far as, inviting anybody in that's not supposed to be in or going out. But when you read the book, you will notice there is a little bit of sneaking about. And I did learn that Newnham, at the turn of the century, girls would sometimes drop down and roll under the fence to get outside of college. And I'm not sure if they were doing anything bad, but they could get out of the college walls pretty easily. So I'm wondering, today in Cambridge, are curfews really an issue? Are people sneaking in and out at all?
So there used to be a very strong curfew system, and if you didn't get back to the college before a certain time, they'd actually lock the gates, so you couldn't get back in.
And then they'd have to climb the walls
Yeah,
and
they'd
things,
have to
right?
climb the walls, so that was all very different now. So obviously students like to go clubbing and things like this, but the nightclubs stay open way beyond 10 o'clock or whenever it was that they have the curfew. So yeah, it's a lot, that aspect of it is less strict.
Okay, so you have a key that can get you in and
you
out.
can kind of live the life of a normal young person, I guess.
All right, this is our last stop in Newnham. These are the old labs behind us. It's just one building, but they call it the old labs. And I'm assuming at the beginning of the college they did their science work here, but by the time of the novel, 1901, they had already moved elsewhere, and this was kind of a storage area. Today they have, classes in here sometimes. In the book, I'm not going to tell you exactly what happens in the book. You'll have to read to find out, and it'll be worth your time. But for now, I really want to thank Harry for giving us such great information about Cambridge, the university and the town and the colleges, and we wish him well in his degree.
Yeah, thank you. It's been my pleasure, and I look forward to reading the book.
Okay, great. You wouldn't call Cambridge creepy during the day. Annoying, possibly. There are crowds of student groups stampeding you everywhere you go, and everything seems overpriced. And on a day like today, it gets pretty hot. At night, creepy is definitely going on. We're right next to Queen's Road right now, which is a major site in the Dark Between. All three of the characters, Kate, Asher, and Elsie, take Queen's Road at some point or another in the book, sometimes pairing off or sometimes going completely alone. And it's not the safest journey they could have made, especially during that time before electric lamps, which at least they have along here on the road. So I just wanted to give you a sense of Cambridge after dark and how it can shake you up a little bit. Well, we've come to the end of the Dark Between tour of Cambridge, England. I hope you've enjoyed seeing some of the locations related to the novel, but also learning more about the history of this beautiful city. Most of all, I hope you enjoy the book.